What if you check into a hotel for one night and discover someone else is already staying in your room? This is one of the most terrifying hotel stories ever told. And according to the man who survived it, every word is true. In 2018, a 22-year-old photography student named Ryan arrived in Chicago for a weekend project. Low on money, he booked the cheapest hotel he could find online. At first glance, the building looked old, but normal. But the moment Ryan walked through the front doors, something felt wrong. Behind the front desk sat an elderly woman. She slowly handed Ryan an old brass key and whispered, "Room 314, and whatever happens, don't open your door after midnight." Ryan laughed. He thought it was just a strange joke. Ryan walked down a long, empty hallway until he reached room 314. The door creaked open. Inside, old furniture, faded wallpaper, and silence. Too much silence. At exactly 12:03 a.m., knock, knock, knock. Ryan's eyes snapped open. Again, knock, knock, knock. Slow, deliberate, impossible to ignore. Ryan slowly walked to the door and looked through the peephole. Nothing. No hallway lights. No footsteps. No one. Then suddenly, his phone buzzed. A message from the front desk. "Do not open the door." Ryan's heart stopped. Because he already had. Ryan slowly turned around, and then he heard footsteps coming from inside his room. One step, two steps, closer and closer. Then in the darkness, a shadow moved. Ryan checked out before sunrise, and he never spoke about room 314 again. But trust me, that was only the beginning, because the next hotel story is even more terrifying.
What would you do if you looked into a mirror and saw someone standing behind you? Even though you were completely alone, this next hotel story still terrifies everyone who hears it. In 2021, a young couple, Emily and Jason, booked a romantic weekend in a mountain hotel near the Rocky Mountains. The hotel was beautiful, quiet, and surrounded by thick forest. It looked perfect. But sometimes, the most beautiful places hide the darkest secrets. The receptionist handed them a key. Room 27. Neither of them noticed. The receptionist suddenly stopped smiling. Their room looked beautiful. Wooden walls, antique furniture, and directly in front of the bed, a massive old mirror. Emily stared at it for a moment and felt uncomfortable. At exactly 2 a.m., Emily suddenly opened her eyes. Something felt wrong, very wrong. Then, she looked at the mirror and froze. Standing behind their bed was a woman, long black hair, a white dress, her head tilted unnaturally, and she wasn't moving. Emily screamed. Jason woke up and looked at the mirror. At first, nothing. Then he noticed something impossible. In the reflection, the bedsheets were moving, but in real life, they weren't. The next morning, they rushed to the front desk. When staff heard the room number, their faces turned pale. Because in 1964, a young bride died in room 27. And ever since, guests claim she still waits. Inside the mirror, Emily and Jason checked out immediately, and they never looked into another hotel mirror again. But what happened in the next hotel was far more terrifying. What would you do if your hotel phone rang in the middle of the night and the voice on the other side already knew your name? This next story is based on one of the most terrifying hotel encounters ever reported. In 2019, businessman Mark Stevens arrived in Las Vegas for an important conference. He booked a luxury hotel on the famous Strip. Everything looked perfect. Bright lights, expensive furniture, complete silence. But sometimes, silence hides something far worse. After a long day, Mark returned to his room. He locked the door, turned off the lights, and fell asleep. Hours later, at exactly 1 a.m., ring, 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 Mark slowly opened his eyes. The phone beside his bed was ringing. He picked it up, and then a little girl's voice whispered, "Daddy, why did you leave me?" Mark hung up immediately. His hands were shaking. 30 seconds later, the phone rang again. Same voice, same whisper, "Please come back." Panicking, Mark called the front desk, but the receptionist sounded confused. "Sir, your room phone isn't connected." Mark stopped breathing because he was holding it. The next morning, Mark rushed downstairs and asked hotel staff about the room that called him. Their faces turned pale because that room had burned down 20 years earlier, And the most terrifying part, that room doesn't exist anymore. But every few years, someone still gets the call. Mark checked out before sunrise, and he never stayed in a hotel alone again. But the final story is the most terrifying of them all. What if, late at night, you stepped into a hotel elevator, pressed a button, and arrived somewhere that shouldn't exist? This final story is the most terrifying of them all. In 2020, a travel blogger named Sophia checked into an old luxury hotel in Bangkok. The hotel looked beautiful. Crystal lights, marble floors, perfect service. But from the moment Sophia entered, she felt someone was watching her. Near midnight, Sophia stepped into the elevator alone. The doors closed slowly. The elevator was silent. Too silent. Then she noticed something strange. One extra button, a floor she had never seen before. Curious, she pressed it, and instantly, she regretted it. The elevator moved upward, slowly, then stopped. The doors opened, and beyond them was complete darkness. No hallway, no lights. Sophia couldn't move. Then from the darkness, a woman's voice whispered, "You're not supposed to be here." Sophia stopped breathing. No sound. Then, deep inside the darkness, two glowing eyes opened, watching her, waiting. Suddenly, the elevator doors slammed shut, and the elevator dropped violently. When it finally stopped, Sophia was back in the lobby, shaking, crying, alive. The next morning, Sophia asked the staff one simple question. "How many floors does this hotel have?" The manager looked at her and quietly said, "Only 8. Sophia never stayed in another hotel again, and to this day, she refuses to use elevators alone.